Turning to a spot of business news now, and all financial eyes on this week's US presidential election. Fears of a tightly contested vote added to rising coronavirus cases and lockdowns around the world has dampened risk appetite somewhat, but there is a bit of bargain hunting going on, and this and signs of recovery in China's manufacturing sector adding up to the positive picture you're seeing there across the main Asian indexes. It is green across the board, the Nikkei up 1.4% almost, the Hang Seng in Hong Kong up 1.25%. The Kospi and Seoul almost up 1.5%, while the Shanghai Composite just tipping into the green zone. Well, we can cross now to France 24's business journalist Brian Quinn, who joins us live via Skype because of COVID-19 restrictions once again. Brian, France's second lockdown entering its first full week, more restrictions being put on the bigger shops now and supermarkets. Tell us about that.
Well, Eve, this current lockdown differs from the last one in that a lot of businesses like factories and construction projects have been allowed to continue operations. However, in theory at least, only essential retailers like grocery stores and pharmacies are allowed to remain open. The issue comes from the fact that many of the country's largest grocery chains have, in fact, vast store locations with plenty of non-grocery sections. You can imagine a giant Carrefour hypermarket where you can buy TVs, books, toys, etc. What the Prime Minister of France said last night is that those giant retailers will have to stop selling non-essential items out of fairness to these smaller shops that have been required to close their doors. That decision comes after dozens of municipal leaders have demanded the government do more to help small French businesses, especially bookshops. In fact, there's been a lot of pushback on closures this time. Mayors of Bordeaux, Nice, and here in Paris have all issued some special orders allowing certain shops to remain open. Big retailers, for the moment, are not any happier with this latest order. Their main trade group says it's, quote, incomprehensible. They say that it has no health justification and will only serve to make French people's lives harder. Some 200,000 businesses have been forced to close during this lockdown. And this latest back and forth is basically a question of fairness. Who is allowed to stay open? And it's a very tough question for the government because they're trying to keep the economy running as much as possible while ensuring the lockdown actually has its desired effect of keeping people home and curbing the virus's spread.
Indeed, Brian, many observers saying that really the real beneficiary of the current rules are these major online multinationals, one of them a big bugbear here in France, Amazon.
Yeah, that's right. The French Council of Shopping Centers calls international e-commerce giants like Amazon, quote, predators who prosper while paying almost no taxes, destroying jobs and polluting cities. French Economy Minister Bruno Le Maire took a similar tone on Sunday, saying Amazon must not be the big winner of this crisis. Le Maire says the government's going to be putting 100 million euros towards accelerating the move to e-commerce for French small retailers. He wants at least half of French local shops to have an online shopping presence by the end of this pandemic. There's been a big push here in recent days to boost what's known as click to collect. That's where customers can order goods from their local shop online and then set up an appointment time to go pick them up. That has been a lifeline for some, but probably not enough of one. The latest data from bookshops shows that click to collect is only bringing in about 10% of normal sales figures. Amazon, on the other hand, going gangbusters. Its third quarter results showed a 37% jump in sales. Amazon has a huge presence here in French e-commerce. It has around 22% of the national market in 2019. That's only growing. The company, though, is showing some recognition for the hardships that French retailers are going through, although that does come after pressure from the government. On Saturday, Amazon said it would be halting its advertising for pre-Black Friday sales in France. French Retail Federation not happy with that either, though they say it's not enough. They're calling on the government to ban immediately all Black Friday sales here in France, actually.
Okay, Brian, thanks indeed for that update. Brian Quinn there from our business desk.